Monday, the 21st of December, 20 days of random awesomeness already lie behind us. I created a playlist where you can check out each and every episode and watch it again if you want to. I put a link in the description below. We are Monday, of course I ran out of my stinky cones, so no stinky cones today. I should get some more, especially before the holidays, because I like coughing. Let's get right into today's bag. We already saw yesterday that Santa made the effort and put on a fragile sticker, because apparently it is quite fragile. So without further ado, let's open this, because you can already see what's in there. And I think you could have seen it yesterday already when I showed off this bag. Now, what have we got today? And yeah, I think this is kind of a story time, because since I can remember, I was always interested in building these model kits. I really loved building model kits, especially, you know, in the winter time, right now, or maybe now in January, where I will build this thing. Yeah, it's just something relaxing. I really like enjoying building these things. And I just saw recently that now Eagle Moss, I think they are called. They are building the Ecto one out of metal, and it's kind of a subscription thing. And yeah, you get like 1 or 2 parts every week for over like 2 years, and then you finish your model kit. Of course, this thing costs a fortune. It is quite cool because it's all made of metal and it's super high detailed. But I stick with these models for now. So I bought this in the States recently. I brought this over. So I'm looking forward to building this in January. Now, in general, well, of course, model making has yeah, a connection to filmmaking, especially in the time nowadays. Of course, unfortunately, most of the effects are made in the computer. If you have seen videos with Paul, Paul is a real prop and model builder. He's like a building model from scratch for movies. Of course, unfortunately, a job that gets rarer and rarer, and all the elderly professionals in that departments, they will be gone. So it is a whole department that will slowly vanish, which is quite sad, because there are so many tricks and little things to know and to learn how to build models, or how to make things look kind of realistic in the movies. I prefer real models that get blown up in a movie instead of having something that is 100% generated in a computer. Even you see that's it's a model, but it's, you know, it has something natural to it. You see real flames and a real explosion. Even it's a miniature. Remember like steam engine in Back to the Future that exploded at the end? Back to the Future 3, of course. Those things would just not work out when they were made in a computer. So I really prefer model making. And I just brought some model kits today to have a look. Some of them are already built. This one, for example, is like the most recent one I got. I got this from Japan. This is an Aoshima kit. And yeah, a kit, and of course Knight Rider. I will put the other box away for now, so we can have a look at this one. And this was quite fun to build. A lot of little pieces, very detailed, and with an airbrush and stuff, you could really make this thing look quite nice. And this one is already built. I made this, I think, beginning or mid of the year. One thing in particular that I really wanted to have is like kits light effect here. And I saw online that there were kits available that you could put in there with some LEDs that move. And apparently they were sold out, and it was kind of a limited edition thing. And yeah, so I had to build my own. So I ordered me like tiny little LEDs. They're like 1/4 of a millimeter thick. And I built it myself, this little light effect, using an Arduino, which is in there. And then you have like only those 2 cables that come out. And you can hook this up. I have my bench power supply here, and I have to hook up some cables just to get this thing started. Now I zoomed in a little, and yeah, I also tried to replicate the inner of the car. I have my little torch here, so maybe this helps to see this. I could put it on a manual focus, but then it will be out of focus all the time. And there are still other things I want to show you, so it's not so that important. But yeah, as I said, little Arduino in there and some LEDs. Let's turn on the bench power supply and see how this looks. Yes, there we have it. And you see it's nicely fading in and out. It's not just blinking or yeah, or stepping through these LEDs, but it is nice and fading. Also, there are some two little LEDs in here and two little LEDs in here. So yes, that's a very nice kit, the Knight Rider kit from Aoshima, a Japanese brand. They are pretty known for making very high detailed models. A lot of fun building these, or building especially that one. Now, what else do we have in the bag? We have this thing, and this one is old again. This one is out of my childhood. Now, this is of course the DeLorean from Back to the Future 2, made in 1997. And I remember buying this thing at Universal Studios in Florida. That was the time where the ride still existed. Unfortunately, that's no longer the case. Yeah, so I built this thing when I was 16 or 15. 17, well, when I was younger. So of course a bit less detail than I would get in nowadays, but also it falls apart kinda. Now of course we have all of the nice detail of the DeLorean from the Back to the Future franchise, my favorite movie of all times. And well, we won't be able to see in there because you cannot open the doors. There's also the mirror is missing, but you had this action of the wheels that could turn around, and yeah. Also a very detailed, nice model. Even there are some drips of glue and the paint job isn't that good. Well, I was quite young when I was building this thing, and I think I used like a spray can or something to spray it silver. Very nice model. And if you are subscribed to my channel for a longer time, I made a short movie together with Paul one day. I think it's like 1 or 2 years, no, 2 years back. And it was a Back to the Future fan film, and we had a lot of fun of making this. And especially at the end, we wanted the car to take off and fly away, and then enter time travel mode. And yeah, I thought we should definitely do this like 80s style by building a model of the car and doing this on a green screen. And yeah, and that's the car. That's the thing. Paul and I built it together in his kitchen while drinking coffee. And that was quite a fun time. You see this thing here, of course this is to hold the car in place, so we could key out this screw later on, or this stick. And this was mounted into some sort of a spinny device, so we could spin the car around and move it. And there is quite a fun story to this thing, because Paul did the electrics in there, so there are two button cell batteries, I think it was, in there to drive multiple LEDs. We had LEDs in the front, we had LEDs down here, and some in the back. And when we finished shooting, I took this car home and I put it in my man cave on a shelf, and these lights remained on for over 3 months. I don't know what happened. Quite funny. And Paul and I was telling this to Paul, and he didn't believe me. And yeah, it is quite weird. So I sent him videos and stuff. We even had like miniatures of ourselves inside of the car, by the way. This is me sitting on that side. I don't know if you can see this nicely, but yeah, that's me. And on the other side we have Paul driving the car with his yellow hat. And when you watch the movie, you know where this yellow hat comes from, because it is part of Paul's costume in that case. We adapted the wheels, so we built it a little out of different parts, this mechanical thing, to get a little bit more detail on camera. And yeah, and by the way, for the beginning we of course used a real car, and that's why this is a Dodge Challenger, because that was the car I was driving in that time, and we used that for instead of a DeLorean. Unfortunately, I don't have a DeLorean, and DeLoreans in Europe are even rarer than they are in the States. So we used my car, and of course I needed to get the model kit of that car, and we even put on the stripes as on my car. So yeah, that was quite fun. That was a fun time of shooting, and you can always check it out. I will put a link up there where you can watch this short movie if I don't forget it. Else you will find it on my channel. The next thing is not in the bag because I don't want to break it, but you saw this in the beginning already. The T800 Endo Arm. And this thing is not a kit. This thing, by the way, I made using my 3D printer. This was like the first thing I printed with my 3D printer. Like right away get into the most complicated stuff. But yeah, it came out quite nice. You can download this for free online. I don't put a link down here because I can't remember where it was, but it's not hard to find. Just type in T800 Endo Arm 3D model or something, and you will find multiple free files that you can download and print. And some of them are more detailed than others, and I think this one was the most detailed one that I could find. So yeah, of course, I printed out each part. I glued everything together using super glue and or model glue, you know, the model plastic glue. And then I put on a primer and some chrome or chrome colored spray. Yes, and then I weathered it, and I used Paul's trick using graphite powder. To make this look more metallic, and then some clear coat and some more black wash to give it more detail, because you see here in the hand, you see that, for example, those little hydraulic pistons, those are clean, while everything else is quite dirty, because of course these would move the fingers. So as here you can see that you have like these rings here where the piston would go inside of the barrel or the cylinder. And yeah, this was quite a lot of fun of building. You can find them as a single piece for display. I think there was a DVD version where you would get this arm with like the plexiglass tube where it belongs into. But I prefer building stuff, so yeah, I printed this out and made this my own, and this is very cool and nicely detailed. I really like this thing. I will put it here next to the candle where it can catch fire easily, like this. What else? I have also, I can't find back the packing of this, but here is a very poor old destroyed T800. And also again a model kit that I bought at Universal in Florida. Yeah, this thing is old and almost completely destroyed over the years. I even put on some blood here on the arm, but yeah, there are so many things missing. So one day a friend of mine came up with this thing because he said he no longer wants it, and as I am collecting Terminator stuff, he gave it to me. This is not a kit. This was like an action figure kind of thing. I mounted it onto a wooden plate, and you see that there is still, I glued underneath one of these coins of the coin machines that you get at Universal. And yeah, this one is quite nice though, because it articulates, and even all the pistons are moving when it moves and stuff like that. This is quite a nice thing. Don't know if you can see this, but when I move this around, you see that the pistons are actuating and stuff. So I really like this one. I'll put him here. Now, another thing of the Terminator, I made a video also months ago where I was building one of these, the power cell of the Terminator. It was not out of the movie, it was something that I came up with, and I built this. And later I managed to get me a skull, a T800 skull out of vinyl, a kit out of Thailand. So it took a while to get it, and it took me almost 1.5 years to finish this build. And I filmed everything, and I never came around to edit this stuff. So it will be an upcoming video at one point. So it was a whole vinyl T800 hat. You see pictures here that I assembled, and then I thought, well, I really want it to be metal or metallized, not like this thing here, which is more or less spray painted. even it looks okay, but I really wanted the mirror look. And I decided to chrome plate this thing by myself. So I got me a chrome plating kit. And yeah, I needed a electric conductive spray and copper plated first, and then I had to nickel plate it and gold plate it and then chrome plate it or something like that. It's been a while, and I managed to more or less chrome plate the whole thing. And then I put it some LEDs in there and a motion sensor with a sound card that played the Terminator theme. And this thing hangs in a glass cabinet now, or a glass display shelf, together with an explosion in the background, as you can see here. And it's quite a nice kit. As I said, this is a video that will come up one day when I manage to, to finish the whole editing thing, because I have hours and hours of rushes, because it took me quite a while to finish this thing. Yes, so this was pretty much it. Did I forget anything? No, I think that was it. I could open the Ghostbusters kit, but I'm pretty sure that there are so many other videos on YouTube that show these things. What nobody else shows is tomorrow's bag. Let's show and take tomorrow's bag. Let's see what we have. We have this thing here, lightweight, multiple pieces, plastic. And there was a note from Santa on the side saying that there is another thing that is way bigger and will not fit inside of the bag. So I have this next to it. And we will have a look at this tomorrow on Tuesday the 22nd. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you tomorrow. Have a nice evening. Until then, see ya.